watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide, by the way. And if you're not familiar, this is Jesse Water on the brain, and he is, we like to refer to him as Stretch Ben Shapiro, the man with the caterpillar eyebrows. And he's turned into, like, I guess they rolled him into being stunt Rachel Maddow for, to fill in the old Tucker spot. That's what he is. Because, I mean, it's like he's got the same haircut as Rachel Maddow, none of the brains in class. Very Fox. Just very, very, very Fox. Very Fox. Okay, so, but apparently this is a threat so terrifying they can't tell us what it is. But apparently you're going to, and I don't know how terrified I am, but I hope to be terrified. I mean, the only thing I can think of that's truly terrifying is the kidney. But who knows? Who knows? We might find something that's a little more frightening. Here we go. Russian space nukes. Fox. Is this like Jewish space lasers? Maybe we put our I will say, for the record, I will bet on our Jewish space lasers against their Russian space nukes. Just saying. In an even match.
News alert: America is apparently facing a national security threat from Russia that's so terrifying that our own government said they couldn't tell us what it is. This vague threat started this morning.
Well, and you've already found out what it is? Man, way to be connected, dude.
Primetime producers were getting alerts on their phones, each alert more ominous.
Your show producers were getting alerts on their phone. Can I sign up for some sort of random government alert system that only tells me when stories can't be told?
But just as vague.
Oh, okay. You mean like your entire life?
Congress said there was a threat, but we couldn't tell how serious it was, and neither could anyone else.
There's really no cause for panic or alarm around this particular piece of intelligence.
Should be concerned. It's serious. That's all I can say right now.
This is a serious issue. There are many serious issues that we...
I agree. Yeah, seriously.
...undertake all the time. But there's no need to panic. This is not an immediate crisis.
Yeah, but I don't panic out of need. I do it out of, because, and I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. Panic is my safe word. Unless I'm yelling it. It's only a safe word because you can yell panic and not quite, sometimes to heighten things. But only whispered. Like that. That's how you know. Stop. That's me. Stop immediately.
This is one more thing to worry about in terms of Vladimir Putin and his attack on democracy and freedom.
Okay, this all started when the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Republican Mike Turner.
Oh, a Republican came out and said something, and so everybody was asking people about what the fuck a Republican who's on this was talking about because he wasn't supposed to talk about it, and now they're asking everybody else, and so it became a rolling story because a Republican who wanted everybody to know how important he is came out and talked about something he can't talk about because they have no interest in governing. Weird.
Released a statement saying this, quote, "Today, the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence has made available to all members of Congress information concerning a serious national security threat. I am requesting President Biden declassify all information relating to this threat so that Congress can openly discuss the actions necessary to respond to this threat." Primetime doesn't know Mike Turner very well. He's been on our show once, maybe twice.
Well, I mean, if you knew each other very well, you'd know how many times. I guess the thing is, it wasn't very good. One of those times was just kind of like,
He wants to protect the country. We believe he's a patriot, but...
Really? But...
I've been in this business for 20 years and...
Really? And you're still this confused?
Something seemed off. Doesn't the Gang of Eight usually handle big intel announcements?
Yeah. So your issue seems to be that Republicans don't know what the fuck they're doing? Where have you been for 20 years?
And where's the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson?
Yeah, I don't care.
Who still hasn't ever done our show for some reason.
I think it's a Jesus thing, probably. He probably talked to one of the witch killers at his church, and they were worried about your mom because she's apparently a Democrat, stuff that she said, so they don't trust that you're not like a plant put there. Yeah. Or you're boring and you suck. That also could be. He could be busy doing real shit and you're a waste of time. He's been on other shows, I'm just saying, but I wouldn't take it personally.
Well, he runs to the microphone and tells Americans not to panic.
I want to assure the American people there is no
He seems to be standing still. I don't. Can you show the running part?
need for public alarm. We are going to work together.
Yes, only be alarmed in private. That's what I do. Just just keep cool when there are people around. Jesus Christ! Call me back later. I don't have time to freak out right now. I can't. There's people watching. Good God! It's fine. I'm fine.
To address this matter, as we do all sensitive matters that are classified.
You know, all of them. And all the naughty, we'll keep it to ourselves. Who can say? There's some things that we talk about, some things that we just kind of whisper to each other in the cloakroom. You know what I'm saying? Just feel the breath of someone on your shoulder, and then suddenly you know something you didn't know a moment ago about yourself.
So one Mike says very serious national security threat that Biden has to declassify. And then a more powerful Mike says nothing to be alarmed about. We'll handle it in private.
Yeah, Republicans can't find their ass with both hands. Hey, asshole, you do realize the entire mandate of your show is to show that Democrats don't know what they're doing, right? By the way, I appreciate this. I mean, I do. We all think it's fucking hilarious, but...
Democrats are saying it's serious, but it's no need to panic. Other Democrats saying Putin's attacking our democracy. What's going on here?
What's going on? Guys, what's going on?
And then we get the drip, 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 little morsels of info all afternoon.
Uh-huh. Is this just an excuse as to why you weren't prepared for your monologue tonight? Is that you basically just you're talking about this because you're like, I didn't have time to put together a show. We were getting this like little bits of information that didn't go anywhere. So I would have totally had an awesome fucking show, but
it's something we've known about for a long time. Then it's something we just found out about. Politico reported
maybe some of the people that have been there for a while know about it, and some people just found out about it because they don't do their homework, because that's a lot of the Republican Party. Okay.
The intelligence was related to Russia's hypersonic cruise missile.
You mean the one we shot down with our Patriot system?
That can fly at speeds between Mach 6 and Mach 8?
Yeah, but they have to slow down to actually hit their target, and when they do, they get hit.
They also speculated that the Russians and North Koreans were joining forces to attack our space capabilities. The media was going crazy.
Yeah, with what? Their space capabilities?
We have new reporting on a cryptic message that the House Intelligence Committee released on social media.
Real quick, Dana, appreciate it. The Republican chairman released from that, which he had no reason to.
About a, quote, serious national security threat. What do we know about this?
Well, we know that there are a bunch of Republicans in the House who will not vote for Ukraine aid because it will upset Vladimir Putin. So the idea that they give a rat fuck about hypersonic missiles in fucking space that can kill Americans is a stretch.
Cryptic is the right word. We still have more questions than answers at this point.
This must be a grave situation for the chair of the Intelligence Committee to make such a bold statement.
I don't know. I gotta say, I think it might just be bullshit. There's a very strong chance, if I may, and I think that I might, that no, it's not. It's not a thing.
Threat is related to Russia.
It's not that Martians are going to land right now in the U.S.
Oh, yeah? Tell that to Allison over at OAN. Huh? People are keeping aliens in their house, Andrea, okay? To be nice. What the fuck?
But it is something of concern.
All right. Once the media was throttled into an orgy of speculation.
What the fuck do you call your opening statement?
The intelligence community leaked to their favorite New York Times reporters, Eric Schmidt and David Sanger, that the intelligence was about Russian nukes. You ready? The new intelligence.
They already put the graphic up, fuckwad. You can't. Russian nukes, but wait for it. It's a big motherfucker.
This was serious, said the New York Times. But these Russian nuclear capabilities didn't exist. And they were still under development. And they hadn't been deployed. This information was classified and could not be declassified, even though Russia can read the New York Times. But it gets juicier. Leaks to the Times also reveal that Russia is developing space-based nukes that could blow up our satellites. But again, Russian space nukes haven't been developed and aren't even in orbit. First, they told us Russians were using World War II-era tanks in Ukraine.
They are.
And now they've built the Death Star.
Oh, God. Okay. Jesse, are you having a crisis right now? Are you panicking? Are one or both of your eyebrows about to go pupae and turn into butterflies, which scares you because people at Fox will think you're gay and it's a thing.
And we're all going to die.
Welcome to the Jesse Waters Show.
The House Intelligence Committee said this new piece of intelligence was destabilizing. And as this was breaking, Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, rushed into the briefing room and said, do not worry about this threat. But more importantly, Congress must fund the Ukraine war.
This bipartisan legislation will allow the United States to continue to support the people of Ukraine alongside our allies and partners as they fight every single day to defend their freedom and independence.
Can you tell Americans?
Oh, he rushed in for the scheduled briefing that he walked into, and immediately before talking about Ukraine stuff, after he took a question from the people you've been talking about that asked him about it and said, it's obviously we take these things seriously, but I wouldn't.
That there's nothing they have to worry about right now in terms of what he describes as a national security threat.
Look, I think in a way that question it is impossible to answer with a straight yes, right?
Now, if I were a cynic, I would suspect that Washington.
You're not a cynic. Don't give yourself that much credit, Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters, for the record, is not a cynic. Cynic is a label people use for themselves to try and impress people with their skepticism and their critical thinking. You're just a dope for the other side. You think that you're a critic or a skeptic or what have you because you just don't like everything that seems different or it comes from the other side of the aisle. That's not the same thing. That's not skepticism. That's just confirmation bias.
Anxious to pass the Ukraine funding, teased out some intelligence as a scare tactic to jam money through. And Politico also skeptical.
They didn't tease it out. The Republican head of the committee did. The party that isn't going to sign this shit. The fuck are you talking about? The quote-unquote leaks to the New York Times only came after the morning where everybody was yapping about this because a Republican head of one of the committees fucking oh, God,
writing,
rolled
quote,
it out. Who cares?
It's possible Turner was attempting to raise alarms about Russia's advancements in space as a way of underscoring the need for lawmakers to approve additional aid to Ukraine.
Right. We know that's your point, and that's the point of these three writers from Political. It's also possible that the Republican head, the chairman of that intelligence committee, leaked this shit out because he's trying to motivate his own party to sign on to Ukraine funding, or he's trying to fucking impress everybody that he has a really important job.
But Washington's rusty. Not everybody got the memo. Democrat Congressman Jim Hines, who's on the Intel committee, said the threat is not going to ruin your Thursday. Fox's Jackie Heinrich just reported that this isn't a...
Yeah, because it hasn't happened yet. It's that this is a Republican being a fucking moron.
Weapon that would attack humans. Although, if our satellites are destroyed, my GPS dies and I'll probably drive into a lake.
Really? So you drive your car like Allison from OAN does her show, just staring down at the whole... Really, you doing? You maybe roll down a window, make sure if you hear the sound of lapping water, probably turn left.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking this threat lightly. I'm sure Russians are working on space weapons. It's just ironic that the same people who mocked Trump for Space Force are now hysterical over Russia's Space Force.
That's a Republican released this. What the fuck?
It's not even in orbit. Now, if Russia really was planning on putting a nuclear missile into space, that would violate the 1967 Outer Space Treaty.
I'm okay.
And could theoretically lead to a major escalation. Something about today's news cycle, though, just seems deliberate.
Yeah, like the Republican that started the whole fucking thing. Maybe have him on. Maybe he won't be on your show. Did you send anybody, as you got your trickle of warnings and all that kind of shit and your updates all day long, you didn't send somebody over, you didn't get a comment from his office as to why he would say that rando blather that early in the morning and start this whole shit? Why is it anyone else's fault but his? Why is it anyone else's fault? This whole fucking story triggers off this asshole saying this out in the open, and everybody who's on the committee is going to get asked about it. The fucking Pentagon's going to get asked about it at the briefing. Why is it any of their fault and not his?
Someone played a game of Mad Libs and came up with Russia nukes space.
Yes, a Republican on a very important committee who doesn't belong to be there because he's an inserious idiot.
On the same day, Kamala Harris is flying to the Munich Security Summit, where our NATO allies will be rallying to defend Ukraine from Vlad. Hope I'm wrong. I hope.
Again, the question is, I guess in theory, why would a Republican be leaking this on this day? That seems to be the one point he's avoiding. Is it just me? Chat room? Is it just me? Or does he seem to be avoiding the fact that a Republican started all this shit this morning? And all of it came from him, or yesterday morning.
All of our politicians and security officials are operating in good faith. But we've been deceived into raiding the Treasury for foreign adventures before.
Foreign? Space is now foreign?
Americans are a noble people. If you can persuade us with honesty and logic, we'll spend money overseas in order to protect our interests. But don't disrespect us and trick us into writing more checks.
Again, a Republican released this. Make a fucking phone call, you lazy prick.
Washington's been caught way too many times playing games.
Republicans control the House. A Republican chairs the committee. A Republican put out this message. What the fuck are you talking about?
And they'll have to do better than this.
Hey, Jesus, they can't. They're Republicans. What the fuck's wrong with you? Oh my God. The idiocy. What a waste of fucking time. Are you nuts? Good God, man.